This is Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, coaches, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. You see the title? We talking about the Usain Bolt of marathon running. And really, should we compare it like that? I guess so. We can, because a lot of people may not have otherwise looked at this video if we didn't see, oh, wait a minute, there's an equivalent to Usain Bolt. Yes, this man actually broke out of the distance running scene and took the world by storm. Yeah, maybe you didn't particularly get it, just like everybody doesn't know who Usain Bolt is. That's fine. But there were a lot of people. It grew marathon running to newer levels, just like Alberto Salazar when he wrote that book, and then revolutionized running in the United States. Or at least he was credited as one of the people that did that. So with that being said, here's Eliud Kipchoge. When he crossed the line in Rio, you see all the sweat, the stuff come out his nose and everything. The man dominated the race. Guess what happened in Rio? Somebody ran on this. This is going to be very relevant because somebody did a big mess up here. Galen Rupp from the United States got a bronze medal in this race. There was an Ethiopian athlete, if I am not mistaken, same guy here that faded out. He was running on his heels, watched this race toward the end, and then he turns around and he says, dude, get off. And then he turns on the jets. He leaves them behind, instantly drops them. The man has got it going on. Now, here's the title page that I use as the thumbnail here. Like, the man got drip. But before we go over that, we're going to cover something else. Actually, let me go through his drip, and then I'm going to go through the history of his performances, because this dude is arguably, I mean, he is the greatest of all time. I don't know about arguably at this point. He's the greatest of all time. He's defended. Only 8 other people have ever done that, or 8 people in total have ever defended their marathon title. That's one. And then 2, the man is the first man to ever get under 2 hours. And look at this drip. How can you deny it? How can you deny him? Look, the drip is on 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, over 9,000. Even in his traditional clothes, man, the guy is stunting on people. He's just out here chilling. He got his Viking gear on and everything like that. Look at him. He looked like he's in is this like a 70s image right here? Guys, help me out here. But yeah, look, Eliud Kipchoge. Now you can't see the side of this. Let me actually zoom in a little bit more. A little bit more. But look at this. Actually, I'll zoom out a little bit, even though some people, they said they can't see the screen. The reason why I'm zooming out is to show these times. The man, okay, so it says a 9-win streak right here. So they're doing it by year, or however they're doing it, right? So this is a half marathon. It doesn't count. I've already counted this for you. The man had a 13 marathon win streak. He only lost his first one. He finished in second. I think they like set a world record to beat him. So that was that. And then after that, this is a half marathon too. It was 1. Here's a half marathon. That's 2, 3, the London Marathon, 4. Like, we could go on. The 2012 London Marathon isn't even included on here for whatever reason. I think it's because it wasn't in a win streak. So his first marathon, I think he won, and then it was his second one. But beyond that, the dude had 13 marathons going back to back. London Marathon in 2016. Then he came up and won Rio. The man has got it going on. I'm telling you, he's untouchable. The only one that he lost that was within that win streak was when he had an ear infection that threw off his balance. People were joking around it, but if you've ever had an ear infection and tried to do any activity that requires a lot of concentration or a lot of your attention, right? You can feel that it's throwing you off a little bit. It's very close to where your balance is. And he was wobbling in that race, and I'm telling you. And so he still finished. I think he finished in 6th or 7th, and it was still a pretty decent time, a 2:06. But for him, a 2:06 is slow. This is what I want to bring your attention to the right, and then I'm going to zoom back in. So 2:01, that's the world record right now, Berlin Marathon, the official world record, 2:01:39, right? Now, he's the first man to go under it, but then they said, hey, it wasn't official. He's using this technology, and then people coming in and out. We don't like it. But then Bikey had funded it, and he's got 1:59:40 or something like that. The man is lightning quick over the marathon. They have a treadmill that's set to him, and there were people they couldn't even keep up with it for a half a mile. That's how fast his running is. Think about going, at least for this 201. The sub 2 hours is even faster. But for the 201, imagine going 4 minutes and what is it, 39 seconds per mile for 26.2 miles. A lot of people can't even break 5 minutes in a mile, can't break 6 minutes in a mile. Look at the military standards of how that is. And that's considered, oh yeah, that's upper level. Yeah, it's a lot of people can't do it for 1 mile, much less 5K, which is 3.1 miles. So yeah, with that being said, the man's got it. So with his times, right? The first time he tried to do breaking 2, well, 2 hours, 25 minutes. Then he, of course, he had the 1:59:41. But look at this. His average time here, I mean, and that's kind of thrown off because of the Olympic Games with the 2:08s. But his average time is essentially a 2 hour and 4 minute marathon. The dude doesn't run slow marathons. Just a decade ago, like right around when he was starting to get to his dominance and everything. Did you know that a fast marathon would have been considered between 2:06 and 2:08? And some people could be at a high level, may not win major championships, but it happened, I think, in the London Marathon. But it can happen if you have a 2:10 or 2:11. It'll be very hard, but it does happen at these major marathons. They are equalizers. And I think that's why they like having them in hot and humid locations, because it helps out athletes compete against the East African nations. They try to do it for world cross country and put it in cold places, thinking it's going to help the British and the Europeans. It backfired. So it looks like hot and humid places actually allow nations other than the East African nations to compete and to win medals. They may not win overall, but they can compete and win medals. I think the women's marathon champion was a Japanese person. But yeah, sticking to the topic, the man is undefeated. I mean, when I say undefeated, technically he's not, but can anybody touch his drip? Can they get close to him in the times? Can they get that? Now, what happened this time? And here's the image right here, the 1:59:40.2, right? What happened during this race over here in Tokyo, right? This man was being clipped by Galen Rupp of the United States, which was not looking that good this year in the 10K. He finished 5th in the year that he got bronze in the marathon. That was like his 2nd or 3rd marathon or something like that. Didn't he learn from the Ethiopian there? I forget his name now, but didn't he learn from the other guy when he watched the tape, the digital tape, right? That he stepped on Kipchoge's heels. He's a very concentrated runner. He doesn't acknowledge people when he gets to the second half of the race. He was fist bumping, laughing with people, everybody else putting ice on their body. He's over here getting his water, not putting on the ice cap or the towels or anything. He's just running straight forward, paying attention. Then he clips him on his heels. All heck breaks loose. It was 19.5 miles. He got about a 5-second lead. Then it went to 17-second lead. And then about 2 or 3 miles later, the man had about an 80-second lead on the rest of the field. An 80-second lead on the rest of the field. He just said, all right, we've been going at jogging pace, 15 minutes per kilometer. I'm going to throw down a 14:30. I'm going to throw down a 14:20 something. Like, that's what he did. He just said, all right, we've been jogging. I know it's hot and humid. I know you guys have been doing it. I've been at the front a lot of the times, taking up the wind and blocking it for you guys, even though I'm skinny, just like the rest of you guys. But Galen Rupp just made me angry. And so I'm gonna take off on him. And that's what he did. He went out. He's number one. Nobody can touch him. Can't touch his drip. Can't touch his running style or nothing. This is the undisputed greatest of all time. And it really is like a Usain Bolt when it comes there. He goes out and he's like a Kenyan ambassador. He does a lot of different things there, but he's mainly away from his family. That's the unfortunate thing with athletes and everything when they're training, especially some of the distance athletes where they got to go. And some of the sprinters where you're going to a completely different country. Maybe your family's not relocated with you. Plus, you're only there for some months, right? So what does it make sense to do that unless you're really just gonna, like, that's where you live. But like with him, he's away from his family so often. So now he gets to spend a little bit of time with his family as he takes a day off, probably a week or so. And then he gets back to work again as he continues, unless he announces his retirement, which this would be a great time to retire on top. But he's so dominant. I mean, it's probably going to take him a third or fourth place finish or losing the next Olympics for him to retire. But this guy is the greatest marathon athlete of all time. We got to give him a round of applause right here. Eliud Kipchoge. I mean, you got me excited in the marathon, and I'm not even going to lie. I was not interested in the marathon too much. I would maybe see it. I mean, the announcers didn't help it. I mean, look back at the 2012 London Marathon and try to listen to that thing with the I forget what his name is because he's still announcing now. I feel a little bit embarrassed for not knowing it. I'm not going to re-edit this or anything. I'm just going to post this one up. But I usually know their names. But dude, you were putting us to sleep, man, sir, from the UK or Great Britain or United Kingdom. Whatever way y'all want to say, Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I know it's all these technical terms there, but where you're from Great Britain in that general area, dude, you are putting us to sleep in that 2012 marathon. You were like, all right. And yeah, they're going here and this and some of the other distance races. If I'm remembering the correct one, I believe it was 2012. And then they got Tim Hutchins and they got other people on, and then they were like more uplifting, and it makes sense. Like you shuffle around the people that seem to be the best. I noticed that you are now more up, but yeah, Eliud Kipchoge got me into watching the marathon. Now I can watch these things for hours. I can watch the half marathon. I was like, man, these are good. Like these half marathons, they're really competitive. Like watch these things. And this is one of the events where the audience can't look at them and say on their couch and say, you know what, I could run that. Because like they do with the sprints and everything, because they follow in the camera and you still have the cameras following them and don't realize how fast they're actually going in the marathon. Like you can't keep up with them for more than 400 meters for a lot of people, or more than 800 meters, or more than 1,000 or a mile or something like that. Just think of it. You're a sprinter. Okay. You're like, yeah, I can sprint it. And you realize how fast they're going. Sure. It might be a brisk jog for you in the first 200 meters. And then after that, it's like, all right, they really are going 65 seconds in this 400 or whatever it is. And then they're going to do another 65 seconds. Or if it's starting off slower, 75 seconds or something like that, because it's 5-minute mile, whatever. But they're going like 75, 73. You're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. And then there's another 75, 73. And then it's another 75, 73. Then they might throw in a surge, and then you got like a 62-second lap in there, if it were by laps. That's what happens in this marathon. And this guy is the most dominant figure there. I think he's ready to start his restart his win streak. We're going to see what happens in the future. But no matter what happens after this, this man is the greatest marathon athlete of all time. With that being said, I'll catch you all on the next video. Peace.